Manchester United, not off to a great start in their 25-26 Premier League campaign, fellas. At the time I'm recording this, they're 2 matches in, lost to Arsenal, drew with Fulham, Bruno missed that penalty, and already talks have began about Ruben Amorim out. Some do not enjoy his tactics and the formation. Many think that he's playing players out of position, while others don't understand why players like Kobe Mainoo are left out of the starting 11 completely. And although it is still extremely early into the season, the fans are getting frustrated because they want to see results and they're just not coming. You know that guy that refuses to cut his hair until Man United wins 5 matches in a row? Sometimes I feel extremely bad for him because it feels like he's never going to be able to get a haircut ever again. So today on the channel, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to track the progress of Manchester United for 5 full seasons. We will be tracking a total of 5 categories. Category number 1, the position that Man United finishes in the league. Category number 2, the amounts of trophies won every year. Whether that is the Premier League, the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, if they qualify for Europe, can they win there? Any kind of trophy. Category number 3, the amount of money spent on transfers. Category number 4, the amount of money earned from transfers. And category number 5, the club's net income, which will be the amount of money earned minus the money spent. 5 full seasons. How will Manchester United look? How will the squad look? How much money will the club earn? And ultimately, how many trophies will they win? Now, if you guys enjoy this type of new and kind of different idea, let me know down in the comments, because we can do this with so many different clubs. We can make this into a series in FC26. But without further ado, as you hit the like button and the subscribe button with the little noti bell, let's track Manchester United for 5 full seasons starting in 25-26. Let's go. All right, this is what we got. The 25-26 campaign is about to begin, and this is what Manchester United's starting 11 looks like. Bayindir has been favored over Onana, the back line of Shaw, De Ligt, and Yoro, the midfield 2 of Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro. Out on the left, it's Dorgu and Cunha. Out on the right, we're playing Amad Diallo and Mbumo, and we're playing Benjamin Šeško as the lone striker. On the bench, we got the likes of Ugarte, Mainoo, Xerxes, Mount, Mazraoui, Maguire, and Diogo Dalot. In the reserves, we got Andre Onana because he's just the backup goalkeeper. We don't need to give him an extra space on the bench. And Lisandro Martinez is technically injured, so we're starting him in the reserves. If they want to put him in, they're more than welcome to. The 25-26 Premier League season is about to get underway. I am not going to control Manchester United, so I'm not going to be responsible for anything that they do. But at the end of each season, we will go and see what their squad looks like, how many signings they've made, how many transfers they made out, and ultimately what their squad looks like. We're off to the end of the 25-26 Premier League season. How does Man United do? The first season of tracking Manchester United is over. The 25-26 Premier League campaign has come to an end. We are going to start in category 1, which is Manchester United's position in the Premier League. Liverpool won the Premier League by 1 point over Manchester City and Arsenal, who finished in 3rd, Chelsea in 4th on 77 points, Spurs in 5th, Newcastle in 6th, Fulham a surprising 7th place finish, and Manchester United actually got into the top 8, even having a minus goal difference, -2 goal difference on 54 points, scoring 56 goals while conceding 58. This is the rest of the Premier League table. Who got relegated? It is Leeds, Sunderland, and Bournemouth. Bournemouth can never avoid relegation in EAFC, man. I think they're legitimately cursed in here. Why? But a top 8 finish for Man United is actually not too bad. Off to the second category, which is trophies. Clearly, they didn't win the Premier League, so that trophy is completely gone, but there are still 2 cups, the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. In the FA Cup, round 3, Manchester United faced Everton. They lost in round 3. They lost 2-1 to Everton, and ultimately, who won it? Arsenal, 2-1 over Aston Villa. So they're 0 for 2 in the trophy category, but there's still the Carabao Cup. Man United started in round 3 of the Carabao Cup, narrowly beating Plymouth Argyle 2-1 to advance to round 4. And in round 4, Man United's journey came to an end in the Carabao Cup because they lost 1-0 to West Ham United. So then it went to the final, Liverpool versus Arsenal, and Arsenal actually won both cups. They won the Carabao Cup too. So in the trophy category, the 25-26 season for Manchester United, a total of 0 trophies. But honestly, did you expect anything else? Do you expect Man United to win any trophies this year? Probably not, right? Category number 3, the money spent on transfers in the 25-26 season. Who did Manchester United buy? The first one, Valentin Barco for 18.2 million. The second one, they splashed some more money, Arda Güler from Real Madrid for 66.2 million. million. The third one, Paulo Dybala from Roma for 61 million. The fourth one, Nelson Weeper from Mainz for 2.9 million. I have never heard of him before. And the fifth one, Rui Silva from Real Betis for 16.8 million. Actually, a sixth one as well, Andreas Schelderup from Benfica for 13.5 million. So in the 25-26 season, Man United spent a total of 178.6 million to finish 8th in the league. Category number 4, the money earned from transfers, the amount of cash that came in from selling players, starting off with Ethan Whitley to Red Bull Leipzig for 2.1 million. Lisandro Martinez was sold to Real Madrid for 42.4 million. We will not count the loans, as they loaned out Manuel Ugarte to Bournemouth and Radek Vitek to Levante. But they did sell Terrell Malacia to Royal Antwerp for 8.4 million. And they loaned out Kobe Mainu to Osasuna, which again doesn't count. Harry Amos was sold to Roma for 1.5 million. Luke Shaw was sold to Monaco for 19.9 million. And Mason Mount was loaned out to Girona. Altay Bayındır, apparently not a great fit for Manchester United this season. He was sold to Union Berlin in the Bundesliga for 9.9 million. So in total, Manchester United earned 84.2 million off transfers in the 25-26 season, which means category number 5, their net profit margin is in the negatives, minus 94.4 million in 25-26. We're at the beginning of the 26-27 season, and after what we saw in the 25-26 season, this is what Manchester United looks like heading into the second year. There's clearly been some changes. It is Dybala and Güler in the team. Cunha is on the bench. Dalot is on the bench. Amad Diallo is on the bench. Onana is the starting goalkeeper, and they are missing a midfield partner for Bruno Fernandes. They sent Kobe Mainu and Ugarte out on loan, while I believe Casemiro's contract expired. But nonetheless, let's see what Man United do and how they perform in the 26-27 season. Will we see an improvement from their 8th place finish of last year? The 26-27 campaign is over, guys. Did Manchester United improve on their 25-26 campaign, where they finished in 8th? We are starting, of course, in the first category, and that is their position in the Premier League. Oh my goodness, what is going on? In second place, Manchester United. They only lost 2 matches, 23-13-2, 76 goals for, 37 against. They were 14 points back of Arsenal. Arsenal was clear of everyone, but what an impressive second season. How did they manage to pull this off? Man City in 3rd, Liverpool in 4th, Newcastle in 6th, West Ham finished in 8th. This is the rest of the table. Aston Villa dropped all the way to 10th, while Burnley survives once again. Who gets relegated? Birmingham City, Hull City, and Wolves, while Ipswich Town, who did get promoted, they stayed up. To be honest, Man United is exceeding expectation here. Second place. Category number 2, the trophies. They obviously didn't win the trophy in the Prem because they finished in 2nd. What about the cups? The FA Cup. In round 3, Man United got past Fulham, advancing to round 4. In round 4, they beat Nottingham Forest 4-1 to advance to round 5. In round 5, they beat Chelsea 2-1 to advance to round 6, the quarterfinals. In round 6, they beat Bournemouth, who had a deep run as well, 2-0. So Man United went to the semifinals, where they lost to Spurs and Hull City. West Ham. The final, West Ham versus Spurs. West Ham won the FA Cup. What the heck's going on here? Man United to the semifinals and West Ham FA Cup winners. One more chance for Man U in the 26-27 season to win a trophy. Carabao Cup left over. Round 2, they beat Wrexham 2-1 to advance to round 3. Manchester United, I'm looking for you. They beat Man City. They beat Man City to advance to round 4. In round 4, where's Man U? They lost to Brentford. That's it. The journey is over. The Carabao Cup final in the 26-27 season was Arsenal versus Liverpool. Liverpool won the Carabao Cup. So although a very impressive showing in the 26-27 season, still no trophies for Man United. Category number 3 in the second season, the amount of money spent. Who did Manchester United purchase? Fikayo Tomori from AC Milan for 61.3 million. Thibaut Courtois from Real Madrid for 24.5 million. An older goalkeeper, and they brought in George Elinekena from Monaco for 16.1 million. million. That's it. They definitely slowed down purchasing players in the 26-27 season in comparison to the 25-26 season, but they still spent over 100 million, 101.9 million to be exact. How about the cash earned? Did they make more than what they actually spent? Lenny Yoro, outgoing transfer to West Ham United. He went there and he won a trophy. 41.8 million. Chido Obi gone to PSG, 3.5 million. Diogo Dalot is out as well to Crystal Palace for 38.9 million. Patrick Dorgo was loaned out to Bologna. Andre Onana sold to Monaco for 22.4 million. A total of 5 business deals, 4 transfers, and a loan, totaling 106.6 million. So they are in the positive. Man United's profit margin in the 26-27 season, it is plus 4.7 million. So they made money this year. The 28-29 season begins, my friends, and this is what Man United looks like at the start of season 3, tracking everything that Manchester United does. It is still Dybala and Šeško and Güler who have grown drastically, and Mbeumo on the right. Valentin Barco actually starts on the left now, but they're still missing that key midfielder partnership with Bruno Fernandes. Gore starts. The back 3 is now De Ligt, Tomori, and Mazraoui with Courtois, but Courtois is 35 years old. The bench has Xerxes, Amad Diallo, Heaven, Cunha, Silva as the backup goalkeeper, Weeper, Mason Mount is back from loan, Mainu is back from loan, and Ugarte is back from loan, so maybe one of them can step into that midfield position. Alinikena is in the reserve, so is Shelderup that they bought in season 1, and Collier as well, who's 72 overall now. Looking at the squad, can they win a trophy in season 3? Honestly, I think they might be able to push for something. Season 3, the end of the 28-29 campaign, is third time the charm for Manchester United. Are they able to win a trophy this year, starting in category 1 in the Premier League? How did they do? Did they win the Premier League? No, they did not, but they achieved a high place finish. They finished in 4th behind Liverpool, who won it. Then it's Man City, then is Arsenal, then it is Manchester United. Brentford, hello Brentford, 8th place. West Ham 9th, Villa in 10th, Brighton in 12th, Bournemouth in 15th, and Burnley keeps staying up in the Premier League. Leeds United is back and they stayed up. Who got relegated? Ipswich Town, Sunderland, and Nottingham Forest. Their Premier League campaign is done. Forest's dream of continuing to be a solid Premier League club is over in the 28-29 season. The hunt for a trophy for Man United still continues though. The FA Cup. In round 3, they played Brentford. They beat Brentford 2-0 to advance to round 4. Man United in round 4 beat Watford to advance to round 5. In round 5, Man United beat Leicester City 4-1 to get to round 6. In round 6, they lost to Burnley on penalties. Wow, that is a big disappointment, man. Semi-finals were Burnley versus Palace, Newcastle versus Chelsea, Palace versus Newcastle. Newcastle United won the FA Cup. Still 0 trophies for Manchester United. How about the Carabao Cup now? Round 3, beat Colchester 2-1. Going to round 4, they beat Burnley in the Carabao Cup 3-2 to advance to the quarterfinals. Then they beat Leeds United in the quarterfinals to get to the semis. They beat Crystal Palace 4-3 on aggregate to get to the Carabao Cup final, where they played Man City, and Manchester United in the 28-29 season finally got themselves a trophy, the Carabao Cup. But hold on just a second. Remember that they finished 2nd in the 26-27 season, which means Man United qualified for the Champions League. So Man United finished in 10th. They did not automatically qualify for the round of 16. They qualified for the playoff with a 4-3-1 record on 15 points. In the playoffs, they lost to Marseille 3-2 on aggregate. That the Champions League campaign is over, with the winner ultimately being, surprisingly, AC Milan 2-1 over Real Madrid. But hey, a trophy finally came in the 28-29 season, the Carabao Cup. 1 single trophy so far anyway. Category number 3, the incomings, the money spent by Manchester United in the 28-29 season, and we start off with Lee Kang-in from PSG for 55.9 million, Jaden Adai from Como for 7.9 million. They signed Julian Duranville from Spurs for 48.7 million. Malik Tau came in from Newcastle for 61.6 million. Artem Dovbyk came from Roma for 45.6 million. Facundo Medina from Lens for 38.5 million. Bro, Manchester United spent $258.2 million on transfers. More than $250 million for a single Carabao Cup so far. And now the money earned. Did they recoup any of that money after spending so much on new players? Well, Rui Silva left for Tottenham for $10.4 million. There goes Joshua Zirkzee to Torino for $46.4 million. Matthijs de Ligt gone to Inter Milan for $63.6 million. Aiden Heaven is gone to Hoffenheim for $6.2 million. Weeper was loaned out to Başakşehir. Valentin Barco was also gone to Atalanta for $43.3 million. Diego Leon is gone to Fiorentina for $3.5 million. Nusar Mazraoui was the final one to Crystal Palace for $37.3 million. The entire squad got sold. They recouped a lot of their cash, $210.7 million, but they were still in the negatives by $47.5 million, man. The biggest question is, though, will this improve the squad and earn Manchester United more silverware? The 2029-2030 season is about to begin. Look at this Manchester United squad. They spent over $500 million in the last 3 seasons only for one Carabao Cup. Can they win more with this team this year? It's still Šeško, Dybala, and Güler, and Bumo on the right. Dorgu on the left, who's back from loan. The midfield partnership, Mainu is back from loan. He's partnered with Bruno Fernandes. The back 3, I don't know why Ugarte's there. It should be Malik Tau because he's on international duty. There we go. Malik Tau, Tomori, and Medina, and Courtois is still there, 36 years young. Your bench, Elina Kenna, Amad Diallo, Ugarte, Cunha, Lee Kang-in, Mason Mount, Dovbyk, Adai, and Collier. With Shelderup in the reserves, Gore is in the reserves, Vitek is in the reserves. But I mean, seriously, this squad, I think they can win a lot of things going forward. Will they spend even more money this season, though? How much more can they spend? And ultimately, can they win the Premier League? The 2029-2030 season has come to an end. This is the 4th year we've been tracking Manchester United. We start off once again. You saw the squad. You saw the players that they have. You saw the starting 11. You saw the bench. Can they win the Premier League? No. No. Chelsea wins the Prem by 3 points over Man City. Then it's Liverpool, then it's Newcastle United, and then it is Manchester United in 5th on 63 points, 17, 12, and 9. Arsenal dropped off to 8th place behind Aston Villa and West Ham. Spurs in 9th. Burnley, they've been absolutely incredible this entire video. This is the rest of the table. Leeds stay up. There goes Blackburn, Bournemouth again, and Wolves again. Blackburn, 2 wins, guys. Dude, that's as bad as it gets. So Man United is finishing in that top 4, top 5 category. Seems like year after year now. That's 3 times in a row they finished in the top 5, but they just can't get over that hump and win a Premier League title. Don't worry, there are still other titles to be won, obviously, not just the Premier League. How about the FA Cup? Round 3, Man United beats Luton Town to get to round 4, 1-0. In round 4, they beat Leeds United to get to round 5, 2-1. In round 5, they face Wigan Athletic, a very favorable opponent, and they beat them 2-1 to get to round 6. In round 6, they get hammered by Man City, 3-0. It wasn't even close. But Fulham upset Liverpool, and Palace beat Southampton to advance to the semis, where Fulham beat Man City, and I didn't even notice, Charlton Athletic. What did Charlton do? They beat Brighton. This FA Cup has been just an FA Cup of upsets. The final, Fulham versus Palace. Palace won the FA Cup, guys. 2029-2030 FA Cup winners, Crystal Palace. Carabao Cup for Manchester United, 0-2 once again this year. They beat Forest in the Carabao Cup round 3, 3-1. Off to round 4, Manchester United, they beat Sunderland 2-0 to get to the quarterfinals, where they lost 4-2 on penalties to Leeds, man. Leeds United. The semifinals, Spurs versus Brighton, Arsenal versus Leeds. Spurs versus Arsenal. Arsenal kind of saved their disappointing season by finishing in 8th by winning the Carabao Cup. So Man United is 0-3, but they still have the Champions League, and in the Champions League in the 2029-2030 season, they did make the top 8, 4-3-1 on 15 points, automatically going into the round of 16, where they had to face RC Lens in the round of 16, and they beat RC Lens 3-2 on aggregate to get to the UCL quarterfinals. In the quarterfinals, they faced Atletico Madrid, and their Champions League journey came to an end, losing narrowly 2-1 on aggregate, with the final being AC Milan versus Dortmund, and AC Milan on won yet another UCL. So it's a big fat zero goose egg for Manchester United in this season in the trophy category, guys. Not a single trophy won and only one single Carabao Cup in 4 years. How much money did Man United decide to spend this year? Oh my goodness. Federico Valverde, welcome to Manchester United for a record-breaking fee, the biggest one we've seen in this video by Manchester United, 126.4 million. They also got Francisco Camarda, 34.1 million. Edmund Tapsoba from Atalanta for 45.8 million. A total of 206.3 million on 3 massive transfers. Category number 4 in season 4. How much money did this club earn after spending again over 200 million on transfers? Did they recoup any of it? Lewis Jackson to AAB on loan, so that doesn't count. George Elenekena, he was signed. He was a bench warmer. He didn't play a lot. Transferred out to Bayer Leverkusen for 32.3 million. Paulo Dybala is gone, probably because he's aging, to Marseille, 33.2 million. But that is all they did, guys. They brought in $65.5 million back into the club through transfers, but their net spend is the biggest one we've seen. It's in the negatives, minus 140.8 million for the season. In the 2030-2031 season, will they finally be able to win yet another trophy? Something else than just the Carabao Cup. The 5th and final season tracking Manchester United. This is what their squad looks like going into the season. It is still Benjamin Šeško. Now it's Arda Güler and Amad Diallo with Valverde and Mainu right behind them. And Mbumo is still on the right. Dorgu is still on the left. The back 3 of Medina, Tomori, and Tau are there. Courtois is still the goalkeeper. Yes, Bruno Fernandes is still at the club, but because he's 34 and he's a bit lower rated than Amad Diallo now, he gets to play bench warmer for, I guess, for the season, or maybe come in crucial times or whatnot. Ugarte is still there. Cunha is still there. Lee Kang-in, Mason Mount, Dovbik, Duranville, Tapsoba, and the reserves of Adai, Collier, Shelderoop, and Camarda. Plus a few of the other guys that don't really play too much. On paper, this team looks stacked, guys, but will that turn into trophies this season? Okay, the end of the 30-31 season, Manchester United. We start in category 1 once again. At his positions and trophies. How did Manchester United do in the Premier League? Did they win the Premier League in season 5 while we tracked their entire journey? No, but they came very close. 2 points off Manchester City. Man City on 78 and Man United finished in second on 76, with Spurs, then Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, Aston Villa, and Newcastle United. This is the rest of the table. Palace in 9th, Forest in 14th. Burnley stayed up once again. Sunderland, Ipswich, and Leicester City, who got promoted, they went right back down. Still no Premier League title for Manchester United. What about the FA Cup? Could they win the FA Cup? They beat Brighton in round 3, 4-2 to advance to round 4. In round 4, they faced lost on penalties to QPR in round 4 of the FA Cup, and Man United is out of the FA Cup. The final was Man City versus Brentford. Brentford went to the FA Cup final, but City did the double. They won the FA Cup as well. The Carabao Cup, the one competition in England that Manchester United so far has won in this video only once. Carabao Cup round 3, they beat Luton Town, okay, 4-1, get to round 4. In round 4, beat Brighton 2-1 in round 4 to get to the quarterfinals. They beat Forest in the quarterfinals 2-1 to get to the semifinals. They beat Burnley in the semifinals to get to the Carabao Cup final. The Carabao Cup final, they lost 1-0 to Arsenal. No trophies in England for Manchester United in the 2030-2031. One total trophy in England for Man United in 5 years. Okay, but wait, there is still one more, and that's the Europa League. They didn't qualify for the Champions League, but they qualified for the Europa League. They finished first in the league phase of the Europa League, guys. 7 wins, 1 draw, 22 points. So automatically advanced to the round of 16. In the round of 16, absolutely crushed FCSB from Romania, 5-2 on aggregate, advancing to the quarterfinals. In the quarterfinals, wow, it was a dramatic one against Eintracht Frankfurt, but they got by Eintracht Frankfurt 5-4 on aggregate, advancing to the semifinals. In the semifinals, they had to play Atalanta, and man, they destroyed Atalanta 5-1 on aggregate, going to the Europa League final against Athletic Club Bilbao. The fight... they bottled it. They bottled the Europa League once again. Athletic Club Bilbao wins the Europa League. Man United No trophies in the 5th season either. None. And a total of 1 trophy over 5 freaking years. All right, let's see the ridiculous amounts of money they spent this season. Jules Koundé came from Barcelona for 104.5 million. Brian Brobby came from Spurs for 53.4 million, and a region of Arnaud Lyon from Everton for 41.3 million. Once again, almost 200 million spent, 199.2 million on 3 transfers. The departures, did they make money? It looks like they made a lot of money. There goes Brian Mbeumo back to Brentford. 45.7 million. Malik Tau, not a very long spell at Manchester United. He went to Atletico Madrid for 64.9 million. Fikayo Tomori left for Aston Villa for 48.8 million. Artem Dovbyk has gone to PSG for 48.3 million. Nelson Weeper was loaned out to Parma. Daniel Gori was loaned out to Tirol. Francesco Camarda was loaned out to Angers. They recovered 207.7 million, which is only the 2nd time in 5 seasons they've actually earned more than they spent, but not by much, only by 8.5 million. That was their profit this year, which means over the course of 5 years, Manchester United spent almost $1 billion on transfers, 944.2 million, and they earned $674.7 million from player sales, the outgoing transfers, putting Manchester United into a negative net spend of minus 269.5 million. For an 8th place Premier League finish, a 2nd place Premier League finish, a 4th place, a 5th place, and a 2nd, with only 1 trophy, the Carabao Cup, in the 28-29 campaign. Yes, they went to a few finals as well, including the Europa League final, but they didn't win any other trophy. So we tracked Man United for 5 full years, guys. Do you think this was a successful tenure at Manchester United? These 5 seasons, were they good? Were they bad? Were they just mediocre? I think the high-placed Premier League finishes were quite decent, but they didn't amount to any silverware. Also, no FA Cup, only 1 Carabao Cup, no European titles either. It just didn't work out for Man United over the course of these 5 years. So in the comments, guys, give Manchester United a rating for these 5 seasons, from A being incredible to F being very, very bad. Now, if you want to see this with other clubs, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Manchester City, Arsenal, PSG, literally any club, we can do it. Let me know what you guys want to see in the comments. And of course, if you did enjoy the video, if you did enjoy the content, please consider hitting the subscribe button with the little noti bell, because we got a lot of great videos on the way. Peace and love. It's always love. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Stay happy. Stay healthy, my friends. Always keep smiling. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, 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 peace. Love you as always. Peace.